song mentor. Well, the Beatles had a monster hit on their hands, I Want to Hold Your Hand. It was a huge hit everywhere. So to follow it up, they needed something equally as impressive or close. Paul McCartney rose to the challenge and wrote Can't Buy Me Love. This is today's rockin' selection for you. Can't Buy Me Love was a song written about just as it sounds. You know, money can buy you lots of things, but not love. McCartney joked later on, a few years after, money could buy him some things, that perhaps he should have called the song Can Buy Me Love. Here's the Beatles, Can't Buy Me Love. All right, once again, as in most older Beatles songs, some pretty cool chords in this song, and here are the chords you're going to need for Can't Buy Me Love. First of all, you're going to need an E minor chord and an A minor chord. You're also going to need a D minor chord. And then you're going to need this chord. I listened carefully to get this one because most of the chord charts show a G7, but I see it as a G7 sus, which is just a little bit different, just a chord the Beatles used. So you're going to play a bar G7 chord, which is the same as a bar G, then lift off your pinky finger off the 5th fret of the 4th string and put it on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Isn't that a cool chord? G7 sus. You also need a C7 chord, and we're going to use this basic C7 chord, which is an open C chord with our pinky added to the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. You're going to need a G7, and we're going to play the G7 here. And you got to play this one. This is the easy G7 with just this note taken off of a bar G chord. But you're going to take that finger off and put it on the 6th fret of the 2nd string. Okay, a G7 bar chord. Slide that down 2 frets and you get an F7 bar chord, which you also need. And then finally, you need an open C chord. And that should cover it, the chords for Can't Buy Me Love. All right, Can't Buy Me Love's unique in a couple of ways. First of all, it's not unlike She Loves You, that began with a chorus, which was a little bit novel in its time to do that. Can't Buy Me Love sort of begins with a modified chorus-like section. And the other thing that's a little bit different about it for a Beatles song is that it's a 12-bar blues song in the verses. It follows a 12-bar blues pattern, and you'll see that when we get to that. But the intro, the first thing you hear is a vocal, not a chord. So let's play through that intro kind of softly and just to see where it goes. Can't buy me love, love, can't buy me love. That's all there is to it. E minor to A minor, E minor to A minor, D minor to G7 sus. So let's take a look at the right hand, see what it's doing there. Can't buy me love, love, can't buy me love, I'll buy you a diamond ring, my friend. That's when we get into the verse. And just before we do get into that verse, let's do a quick playthrough. Assume you've practiced this a couple times, and we can do an up-to-speed playthrough, maybe with some half-decent singing as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Can't buy me love, love, can't buy me love, I'll buy you a diamond ring, my friend. Okay, the verse section, as we alluded to, follows a 12-bar blues progression, and it starts with a C7 chord that we played there. Now that strumming rhythm is reminiscent of the Beatles' She's a Woman. She's About a Mover. Remember that old song? It has that same sort of funky rhythm pattern. So that's the pattern we're going to use here. And I'll just play through this without any vocals, just to play through it, the 12-bar progression. Okay, so that just takes us through the 12-bar progression. Of course, we've got that stop in there. So let's slow this down and do it with some crude vocals here. I buy you a diamond ring, my friend, if it makes you feel alright. I get you anything, my friend, if it makes you feel alright. 'Cause I don't care too much for money, money can't buy me love. Let's take a look at the right hand. There's some muting and killing of chords going on here as I play through this, so just watch for that. All right, once again, let's do a playthrough of a verse. 1, 2, 3, 4. I buy you a diamond ring, my friend, it makes you feel alright. I get you anything, my friend, it makes you feel alright. 'Cause I don't care too much for money, 'cause money can't buy me love. All right, let's focus on that little connector section that actually fills in between the second and third verses, and it's chorus-based again. It's similar to the intro, except instead of going from E minor, and then E minor, A minor again, it runs like this. Can't buy me love, everybody tells me so. Can't buy me love. So it's E minor, A minor, C for 2 bars, then E minor, A minor again, and then D minor, G7 sus. And that's that little fill section. So let's just let's do a playthrough of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Can't buy me love. Everybody tells me so. Can't buy me love. No, 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 no. All right, it is time for the guitar solo, and I'd like to show you that in this lesson. I have a feeling George plays it up here on the 10th fret, starting on the 10th fret of the 4th string. But for the sake of keeping everything together, we finish up down here. So I don't think it really matters where we play this, and I think it'd be a little more efficient to play it down here. And you get that, you're going to get that little more of a vintage trebly kind of tone if we play it here. Okay, so it starts out with our second finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, and then we're going with our 1st and 3rd fingers, we're going 4th fret, 6th fret on the 2nd string. When we get to the 6th fret, not only are we bending this up, we have to apply a fair bit of pressure here, but we're wiggling as well. And I would suggest that you use all your fingers to push that string up. Don't just rely on the 3rd finger. You're kind of pulling up with all these, all 3 fingers are kind of working at that. Repeat that. Now here, this time we go down a scale. So it goes from 6 and 4, bend on 6, and and then we go from 5, 3, 5, 3, 6. So on the third string, it's 5, 3, 5, 3 on the fourth string, 6th fret on the 5th string. And that's the scale down. That's the first half of the solo. Then we begin the second half by hitting that F7 chord. Okay, now you hear the rhythm to that. Then we're going to go back one time to this. One time to that. We've already played that. Then we do the final section of the guitar solo, which begins with this. We slide up with our second and third fingers from the 3rd and 4th frets of the 3rd and 4th strings up to 4 and 5. We do that twice. Okay? And then to complete that, after those two slides, and that's all just moving around from 5, 3, 1, 1, 3, 5, 3 sort of thing on the 4th and 5th strings. I'll do that really slowly for you. Okay, putting it all together in slow motion. Okay, when we do our playthrough, I'm going to have that in picture on picture so you can play through with the rhythm. Remember, this guitar solo is played through that 12-bar progression, the C, F, G7 progression. So as I say, when we get to the playthrough, I'll put that in picture for you. All right, the final piece of the puzzle is the end of the song, which is more or less a carbon copy of the intro, with the exception of the very end. Now, the guitar actually just ends on a C chord. And then there's a little bit of a boom, 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 which is kind of just bass, really. But what we'll do just to recreate that a little bit is we'll play it like a... that actually just ends before that on the first strike down there. Anyway, here's the ending, like the intro, just a slightly different finish to it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One, two, three, four, one.
Can't buy me love, love. Can't buy me love. I buy you a diamond ring, my friend, if it makes you feel alright. I get you anything, my friend, if it makes you feel alright. 'Cause I don't care too much for money, and money can't buy me love. I give you all I got to give. You say you love me too. I may not have a lot to satisfied. Tell me that you want the kind of things that money just can't buy. But I don't care too much for money. And money can't buy me love. Can't buy me love. Love can't buy me love. Oh.
All right, I just wanted to explain that little tiny flub up during the rhythm section of the guitar solo. At the last bit of the solo, I played this. And it should have been this. Just should have switched to the C sooner there than I did, and I hung on to the F a little too long. So that's that little note that was included there. My bad. All right, a little bit of fine tuning here. As I say, I think George may have played the solo up here. If you choose to do it there, when you hit that F7 chord, the way we learned it, to keep it in the same location, you would just take this C7 chord and slide it up 5 frets to here. And that gives you the middle part of the solo if you decide to play the solo up here. I think it sounds better down here, which is how I taught it to you. All right. Anything else? Let's see. Great rhythms in this song. That funky rhythm playing throughout, and some really neat chord changes with some minor chords always gives a song a lot of flavor. The Beatles knew that. So did George Martin. Can't Buy Me Love. We'll see you next time on Song Mentor.